Alright, what's up, y'all? This is Corvus here, and we're going to take a minute to talk about RWBY. If you have been following my Twitter for the past couple months, I've been planning this video for a long time. RWBY is one of those series that's just super special to me. It's definitely in my top 3 franchises, period. Not talking about anime, not talking about games, cartoons, comics. All of it. Alright? And having just finished Volume 8, we're waiting on Volume 9. Volume 9 is supposed to drop sometime early next year, at least according to the Wikia. Yeah. There's a lot to talk about with this series. I have been there from the very beginning, since it first dropped in, I want to say, summer of 2013, 2014. It had everything I ever wanted in a series. It had the fantasy aspect of different, species. I guess that's not species, they're not different species entirely. Like, there's the magic, there's a really pretty neat, intricate power system with the dust, and the maidens, and semblances, and different character traits of each species. Like, the faunus can see pretty well at night, depending on what kind of animal I guess they are. Or some can breathe underwater, whatever. Things that humans can't really do, or at the very least are pretty bad at, compared to their faunus counterparts. And then there's always the sense of family, community, and friendship, togetherness. It's something I've always loved about RWBY and franchises like RWBY. It's why I love franchises like Strike the Blood or the Ninja Turtles. I love friends. I love the power of friendship. I love it when family can come together and be a family, regardless of whether or not you're blood. And there's a lot of exploring of that, and there's a lot of cutting off blood ties in favor of those who are not, your blood, such as the Weiss and the entire Schnee dynasty. Well, specifically, I guess, with her father, but that's not way off track here. For me, RWBY is nearly perfect. I'm not entirely sure how I like I'm not entirely sure how much I enjoy the direction it's been going the past couple volumes. Because me personally, I'm a very status quo kind of person when it comes to fiction. Like, I remember when Timothy Fast Forward first came out, that entire season for the 2003 Ninja Turtles cartoon. When I tell you, I fucking hated it. I hated it. I wanted them back in their normal New York, doing normal Ninja Turtle shit so badly when I was a kid, when I was younger. Even though now that I'm an adult, I actually really love that season. And it's one of my favorite seasons of one of my favorite cartoons of all time. But I say that to say that I really liked how they would explore, the streets of Beacon, you know, I can't remember if that's what the actual city was called. I know that's what the school was, but whatever, not the point. Like, I really loved everything I was seeing in Yane's when we first got Yane's trailer yellow, when she's busting up into the club and she's riding on her motorcycle and shit. I love that. It gave me the same feeling of home and warmth that uh, that the Ninja Turtles used to, and way back when in 2003. It gave me that same sense of family. And I know it's weird because Yang was the only one in the trailer. Like, RWBY wasn't even there with her. But that's sort of like that's my home. That's my comfort zone. But and to see a lot of, I guess where I was coming from there is I like small scale adventures and like threats and stuff, right? Like, as someone who does power scaling occasionally, I've never uploaded a power scaling video to this channel, and if I'm being honest, I probably never will. I mean, I thought about it, but that's a lot of effort I don't want to go through. And there's plenty of people better than me at the power scaling that are already doing it already, right? But I like smaller scale stuff. I like when things are kind of, tight knit. It feels a lot more warm, I guess, is the only emotion. Like, I don't know, it's close, it's friendly, it's familial. It, I don't even. This is why I should script shit out. But if I ever script shit out, it doesn't get done. It does not get done. Um, yeah, that was a whole tirade. Although I will say that one thing that RWBY does really, really good is it's very consistent. It's very, very consistent. All right. Like, so I remember when the Fourth Red Ninja War started in Naruto in that manga. People hated it. People to this day still hate it. In fact, one of the number one reasons people will point to the time skip or Naruto Shippuden being worse than pre-time skip or just Naruto is the Fourth Red Ninja War, because it changed up so many things. Like, they weren't doing quote unquote ninja shit anymore. It was about aliens and gods and all that. And I understand why they had to do it. I personally would have preferred if things kind of stayed the same. But I think the biggest thing is you cannot point to the Fourth Great Ninja War and tell me it's like the Land of Waves arc, or the Sasuke retrieval, or the Chunin exams, or even, the Itachi Pursuit. Naruto has a big consistency problem, especially with the Fourth Great Ninja War, in that it really does, by the end of the series, kind of make you question if everything that you just watched is all the same thing. Not literally, obviously it's all Naruto. But how does this relate to RWBY? It relates to RWBY in that RWBY, I think, did what Naruto couldn't. RWBY takes all the aspects of what makes its characters. No, it takes all the aspects of what makes its story and its world so great, and it's the characters. It really is. It's the characters. It takes those aspects of those characters, those characterizations, and it brings it with them to their new scenery, to their new environments, to these new world-ending threats. Like, there's always drama that's very small scale. That, like, when you really sit down and you think about it, compared to the world-ending threat that is Salem, the petty infighting that Team RWBY and Juniper and all them go through is really nothing. But I really appreciate that the team over at Rooster Teeth and, the writers and everyone really found the time to put that into the story without it feeling like, okay, it's just drama for the sake of drama, There's always got to be tension, always got to be fighting on screen. But to me, I never really had that problem, because to me it felt so organic, it felt so natural. It's like, of course, because these characters are dramatic, it's what they're gonna do. It's very realistic for them to go off in all these different places. So that for me is a huge plus. Like, I don't really have any criticisms or any gripes with how RWBY has been done. And it's very, very fresh in my brain. Like, not even 45 minutes ago, I just finished the last episode of Volume 8. Not gonna lie to y'all, I don't know when it stopped airing. I don't know when the last episode dropped. But in order to avoid spoilers, I'm not going to be talking about the ending and all that. I will just say that I'm very excited for Volume 9 to see what's going to happen with all that. Yeah. I will say, though, that in terms of power scaling, none of the villains ever feel like they don't earn their spot, Like, a lot of different series have a lot of different recurring villains. Like, for example, let's go back with my Ninja Turtles example from earlier. Let's go with the Shredder for this one. The Shredder in 2003 is an interesting character in that he is one of the most beloved Shredders we've ever gotten. Everyone loves the guy because he was a menace. But at the same time, I'm currently rewatching 2003 right now, and I'm on the Ninja Tribunal arc. And it's so refreshing that we got the new Demon Shredder, because I was kind of getting tired of everyone acting like the Shredder was supposed to be a threat when every time he showed up post like season 3 or 4, he was getting his ass handed to him by like everyone. He was getting jumped. Like, he went from soloing all the turtles and being an even match for Splinter, if not outright overpower him occasionally, to getting jumped and treated like a secondary villain. But we're supposed to treat him like he's the big bad, he's the big threat. We don't have that problem in RWBY. We really don't. Like, up until Roman died, he was a threat. He was a legitimate threat. Up until Roman died and got 8, he was beating the fuck out of RWBY. Alright? Cinder was always a threat. She's always one of, if not the biggest threats. And always an end of the season kind of threat, right? Like, she was... I think she was the end of season threat for every volume we've had so far. And she's earned it. Like, there are times where people will hold their own against her, like Raven did, or like Penny and Winter were. You know, it. But they almost always have to have help, or they had, more experience using their powers as a maiden, whatever. She would always find a way to be a threat, to be one of the most threatening people in the room, even among a bunch of different villains and new villains that we've gotten, such as James, such as Tyrion, and the other guy. I don't remember his name right now, but he's like the scientist or the, he. I don't remember his fucking name, but that's not the point. Point is, she's always a threat. And Neapolitan. I love Neapolitan. She is a fucking threat. She is able to fight Cinder on par. And actually force Cinder to use the power of the Fall Maiden. Which is ridiculous. Alright. Now she just kind of spams it, but when Cinder first got the power of the Fall Maiden and Neo and her fought, the fact that Neo was able to push and force Cinder to use that power is crazy to me. Especially because when we first see Raven for the first time, and Neo lays her eyes on Raven and realizes who Raven is, there is a fear. There's a genuine, oh, fuck, in her eyes as she retreats. Although, now that I think about it, I wonder if that's not because she didn't think she could take Raven, or if it's because she didn't think Roman could take Raven. Because if I remember correctly, she disappears running from Raven, and the next moment we see her, she's backing up Roman. And that's another thing. I have a lot to say about Neo. I love Neo. At first, it was just her character design. I was like, oh, hey, she's really cute. I love her. But the fact that a mute character, a non-verbal character, has been this relevant for this long is crazy to me. And that's so cool. Because we don't really have that many side characters that are this relevant for that long. Let alone mute or non-verbal representation. That's pretty cool. And I love that. Though I will say that I do wish that she wasn't a villain, or at least wasn't a consistent villain. I'm not wording that correctly, but words fail me. Like I love Emerald, I really do, but I think Neo deserves redemption. Or at the very least, part of her backstory. Because the only reason she's in these circumstances right now, helping Salem, is because she blames Ruby for killing Roman, and now she wants Ruby's head on a fucking plate. Alright, she wants Ruby gone. Which is all well and good. But I'm hoping in Volume 9 we explore more of her. More of her backstory. Give me what she and Roman were like, when they weren't doing this criminal shit, or at the very least, give me what they were like alone. Right? Show me why she was so infatuated with him. Show me why she loved him. Even if she was wrong to love him, show me why. Show me why in her head he was worth it. Is Roman her Cinder like Cinder was to Emerald? What's going on? And I would really love to see that explored and see if we can't get her to see reason. I would love for everyone to look at Neo and see that she's not evil. She's not in this for selfish reasons. I mean, I guess you can argue revenge and vengeance is selfish, but she's not in it for greed. She's not in it for world domination. She's just in it because she's heartbroken, she's hurt, and she wants revenge. So, yeah, and the fact that I can spend this amount of time talking about a side character who is never, not once, said anything in the history of the entire show tells me that they wrote her really, really well. Or maybe it's just my autistic hyperfixation on the character. What can I say? I really like Neo. But, yeah, there's a lot going on with this series right now, with Salem and with Emerald getting her redemption arc. Ozpin going from a person that everyone loved and respected to being like, maybe he really was just like the rest of us and is just as open or up for scrutiny and criticism. He was just human. So, yeah, that's gonna be it for me. If you stuck around this long, thank you. Seriously, thank you for having the patience to put up with this unscripted, ranty mess of a video I'm putting out right now. Yeah, I've been Corvus, you've been whoever the hell y'all are, and I'll see you on the next video. We out here.